I have failed you guys, and I am not afraid to admit it. Every year in December, I build a beautiful white and blue themed gaming PC, and I call it Frost. And last December was supposed to be Frost V5, but the video never came, despite many of you patiently waiting. I felt like the father that left to get milk and cigarettes, but never came back. So to pay for my sins, I am bringing you guys Frost V5. Better late than never. If you're juggling between multiple devices, your desk can quickly turn into a cluttered mess. I mean, sure, you can try wireless peripherals and manually reconnect them. You can also switch the cables or even use a KVM switch. But what if I told you there is a much simpler way? Synergy 3 is perfect for anyone running multiple computers at home or at work. Just install it on each of your device, and as long as they're on the same network, you can move your mouse and keyboard across them seamlessly, just like in a multi-monitor setup. It'll work best with an Ethernet connection, but if you don't have access to it, Wi-Fi works just as well. But what's really cool is that your clipboard is also shared, so you can copy and paste text or images across all devices, be it Windows, Mac, or Linux. It's in fact so reliable that even colleges and 911 dispatch centers have started using it. You can get Synergy for a one-time payment if it's just you, or choose a business plan for teams, and if you don't love it, there's a 30-day refund guarantee. Grab it now and save 30% off using my link down below, but just make sure to use the code TechSource in all lowercase at checkout. So this is another subscriber PC build on the channel, and since he's also a huge fan of the white and blue color scheme, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to do another Frost PC. As you guys know by now, the perks of me building a PC for the subscriber is that they also get freebies. And the first freebie on the list is the usual operating system. We're gonna be installing Windows 11 Pro on here. I figured since it's so cheap, I might as well include it in here for free. VIP or CD key is where I get all the keys for my PC builds to save the most money, because who the hell likes to pay full price for an operating system? At VIP or CD key, you can find both Windows 10 and Windows 11 CD keys for dirt cheap. Just make sure to use the code TS20 to get that extra discount. After you check out, just visit the user center up top and navigate to your orders. That way you can reveal the CD key. Then all you have to do is copy and paste that into the activation settings of Windows and you are good to go. So the subscriber goes by the name of Slick, and this is actually his very first gaming PC, and he said he wants to go with the best specs possible. Hence why we are tossing in the Ryzen 9 9950X 3D processor, which is currently the best gaming chip on the market. Despite these processors being out of stock and heavily scalped, I managed to snag a few for future subscriber builds. So we do have plenty of stock here at the headquarters, and that's just one of the many perks of me building your PC. The subscriber always gets what they want, and I'm in a very good position to get parts fairly easily. The motherboard we're installing the CPU on is the brand new ASRock B850 Steel Legend Wi-Fi, which has all the latest next-gen specs, which will also help future-proof this system, like PCI Gen 5, Wi-Fi 7 connectivity, and beefy VRMs with a 17-phase power design, which will help supply plenty of juice to our processor for overclocking. It's also going to fit beautifully with our color scheme. Now, you don't need a contact frame for an AM5 build because this literally does nothing to the temperatures. A contact frame makes more sense on an Intel build. You can see a few degrees cooler, but for AM5, it's not needed. However, I'm going to include one anyways, free of charge, just for aesthetics. This will help prevent the thermal paste from spilling on the sides of the CPU. So let's say later you decide to upgrade your motherboard, it will keep the CPU area nice and clean. And to do that, we're going to be using our brand new electric screwdriver kit, which I'll include in your shipment free of charge, by the way. I'm also going to toss in our 150-piece precision bit as well, which is currently our top seller. So this is basically like an $80 value that you're getting on top of all the other freebies in the video. After all 4 screws are loose, we just have to gently lift it from the sides, making sure that we don't damage the pins on the CPU socket. Then we're going to grab our CPU, gently lay it down, and then put on our contact frame and screw it back on with the included screws. Bam! Easy peasy. For memory, we are tossing in a very fast 64GB kit from G-Skill. These are the Trident Z5 RGB in the color white, and they have 6,400 mega transfers per second with CL32, so very fast and plenty of capacity for gaming and also multitasking. To be honest with you guys, I do prefer the look of the Corsair Dominators and even the Vengeance ones over the G-Skill, but when it comes to compatibility and stability, I prefer G-Skill more. You can actually achieve higher clock speeds with the G-Skill sticks, and they're much faster than Corsair. Since we have PCI Gen 5 support from the motherboard, we're gonna toss in a 4TB Gen 5 NVMe SSD from Corsair. This is the MP700 Pro, which should hold him up for quite some time until he needs to upgrade for more storage. So he kind of went back and forth on the case selection until he settled on the Height Y70 non-touch, which is still in my top 5 PC cases that I've ever built in. And the reason why we're going with the non-touch version is because I'm going to be adding a massive display in the back here, which I'll be 3D printing a cover for later in the video. So if we have a display over here, plus a display in the back and a display from the AIO, there would have been way too many displays. And besides, personally, I think the display over here kind of blocks the view of the internals. Funny enough, while I'm recording this video, Height put out an announcement that they are raising the prices of their cases due to the ongoing tariffs. So I'm glad we actually managed to snag this before then. Okay, let's start the fun stuff. So there's obviously gonna be some mods done to the case. I do wanna paint some areas in the color sky blue, just so it pops inside the case. I want the case to stand out. It wouldn't really be a Frost build without the sky blue color scheme. That's kind of what made it so iconic. So I think I want to take apart the PCI brackets in the back, paint those. I also want to do something with these hard drive cages. If you guys remember in the last subscriber PC build, I ended up painting these in the back, which ended up looking really nice, but this time I want to take a different approach. These do stick out quite a bit on the Y70, and since he's not gonna use any hard drives, I feel like we can do something interesting. What if we add like a cover here with a TS logo in the center? Obviously add some blue accents in there so it complements the PCI brackets in the back, and it serves a purpose. It covers the hole and it makes it look really nice. So let's do that. Aside from that, I did pick up this massive 9-inch monitor from Amazon, which will fit perfectly back here, but of course we have to 3D print some covers so it blends in with the case. This is a 2560 by 1600 IPS touch screen. This is the biggest monitor that I have added in any PC build, and I think it's gonna fit perfectly in the Y70. There are no pass-through cutouts, unfortunately, that lead to the back of the case, so we're gonna have to use the slit over here between the PCI brackets, which means we're gonna have to have the cables facing downwards like this. So it's gonna sit like here, and then we're gonna route the cables back here. Oh, that's perfect. Yep. USB-C plugs in, nice, and then the HDMI. Okay, yeah, the cable length is perfect. This is where my boy Danny from the Discord server comes in clutch. He's gonna help me model out some of these so we can 3D print right over here at my headquarters. Unfortunately, this is gonna take about 2 weeks to do, so in the meantime, let's continue with the build. So first things first, let's remove the PCI brackets back here so we can prep them for paint. I'm only painting the PCI bracket, so we're gonna have to detach this from the riser.
Five minutes later.
So curiosity unfortunately got the best of me, and I dug very deep into the rabbit hole to see how far it would take me. And I started taking apart the entire case to see what else I can paint, because I really want to paint this border over here and on the top, but it turns out that these are actually riveted together, and I'm gonna need some extra special tools for that. That's gonna take way too long, but I could take apart the feet here and paint these, so I'm gonna do that. Finding the right color spray paint is difficult, especially if I'm doing a unique color. This is the closest I can find to the color scheme that we are going with, Seaside Satin from Rust-Oleum. I'm going to do the usual 3 coats on each side for all the PCI brackets and wait a day before flipping it over and painting the other side. Since the legs are only visible on the sides, I don't need to paint both sides, just the bottom will do. Looking really good so far. Now it's time to install the cooler. And Slick is a huge fan of screens, in case you guys haven't noticed already. So it's only natural to go with the cooler that has the best screen in the market. I'm of course talking about none other than the Trax 360 Panorama. This is the flagship model, not the SE model, which is $100 cheaper. We're only putting the best of the best in this build. Now there was one small request made by Slick. He actually wants me to replace the included fans with the Lee fans because we're gonna be tossing in the Unifan SL wireless in the rest of the case. So he just wants all the fans to match, which makes complete sense. So we're gonna replace the top 3 fans with the SL wireless 120s. Whoa, this thermal paste is white. What? Maybe this is what my wife was talking about, because she kept calling it white glue.
Where's the white glue?
You mean the thermal paste?
Yeah.
Now 850 watts is more than enough to power this entire system, but we're gonna toss in a 1000 watt unit just to future-proof the PC. But we're gonna be going with arguably one of the best power supplies in the market, and it's from Lee, the EG1000G that comes with the included hub. So the main difference between this Edge power supply and a previous generation of Edge power supplies is that they actually removed the hub over here that gave you 4 additional USB headers. It is now detachable and you basically have the option of sliding it in. But apart from that, you now get fan headers. The previous Edge lineup did not have any fan headers. You only get 4 additional USB 2 headers on here. But now with the new Edge series, you can connect up to 6 fans, which is awesome if you have a ton of fans in your case. Oh, I almost forgot. This hub actually requires additional power. So you need to plug in an 8-pin PCI connector from the side here. And here's why this hub comes in clutch. So I'm gonna grab the USB header cable that's connected to the AIO screen, and I'm gonna plug it directly here, instead of plugging it into the motherboard. That way the cable stays nice and hidden back here. Same thing with the fan cables. So here's the fan header cable connected to the 3 Lee fans from the radiator. I'm just gonna grab this and plug it right here into the top port. And once again, all the cables are gonna be hidden behind the case and it's not gonna be visible from the front. So as nice as the stock Lee cables look, I'm gonna throw in a set of cable extensions that do come with some nice cable combs as well, just to help clean up the look a little bit. All right, let's hook up the rest of the fans. So we got 6 sets of the reverse blades of the SL wireless 120s. We're gonna hook up triple intake over here on the side, and then another triple intake on the bottom. Plus we have 3 more exhausts on the top. So a bit of positive pressure in this case, but unfortunately, there's not much you can do. Every time you install 9 fans, there's gonna be an imbalance. And I'd rather have more positive pressure inside the case as opposed to negative pressure. Oh man, that's looking good so far. We're almost done. I would say we're about 75% done with the builds. We are going to be adding some strimmer cables. We're going with the wireless strimmers from Lee & Lee. We got the 24 pin as well as a 12 VH power cable for the Gravis card. Although I'm having doubts that this might even work because the 5080 Master from Aura's is a chunky GPU. I just don't know how high it's gonna sit inside the case. So I'm not sure if we have enough room for this cable, but we're gonna find out. So let's pop this open real quick. So we can do the 24 pin in the meantime. It's still so crazy to me that this is all you need. No additional cables to power on your 24 pin strimmer. One end gets connected to your power supply cable and the other end gets connected into your motherboard. Genius, Lee & Lee, absolutely genius. Obviously, we got to replace the black connector with the white one, just so we are staying consistent with the color scheme. Both pieces are out. That's definitely a lot easier than the last generation. Look at that. I just wish this connector comes in white as well, but you can't have it all. All right, here it is, ladies and gents, the big boy himself, the Aura's RTX 5080. This is one of the harder 5080s to get my hands on. It's also one of the more expensive ones because of the color scheme. The Master series from Aura's usually go pretty close to 1800, 1900 MSRP right now. And I'm not gonna lie, it was difficult sourcing one of these, but I managed to snag one for a subscriber. And just to remind you guys again, whatever I pay for the GPU is the price that the subscriber pays. I don't make a penny on these GPUs. I'm fortunate enough to, grab them at MSRP and I pass on the sale to my subscriber. That's also another perk of me building a PC. I get access to these cards. And when it comes to 5090s, unfortunately, even for me, that's still a little difficult, but I do have a few 5090s on the way. Here she is. As you can see, brand new sealed. We're unboxing this for the very first time on the channel. Ain't she a beauty? Oh, this is gonna fit right in.
5 minutes later.
Well, this is gonna be an issue by itself. We have this small little cutout for the 12 VH power cable, but unfortunately the strimmer is too wide to even go inside of it. So yeah, unfortunately we're gonna have to use the stock cable. All right, so Danny has finalized the models for our 3D prints. First up, we have the rear cover. We decided to add a raised TS logo in the back and add some color so it's not looking too bland. So we colored the TS logo surface and its sides in the same color as the rest of the build, and even added an accent color on the chamfered edge to make it pop. As far as the installation method, originally I measured the exact hole location of all 4 thumb screws, and Danny just made holes in the back plate so I can screw it back on. But I didn't like how it looked, and the screws stuck out. So our final version has a recessed slit on both sides. That allows the entire screw head to fall in place, and then he designed these covers that simply snap onto it to cover the screws. The next 3D print was a bit more challenging because we had to design a cover to fit this massive screen. We've done this 2 other times in the past subscriber builds. However, every time we do it, we improve on it. And this time is no exception. Introducing the monitor cover version 3.0. It sandwiches the monitor perfectly, leaving the ports open so that I can plug in the cables from the side. We did leave the cover loose this time around, just so it's easier to remove. However, to prevent the cover from sliding off, I simply attached a thin piece of adhesive on 2 of the bezels to keep it secure. And to prevent the monitor and the front cover from slipping off, I also attached a few more strips in the back before inserting it in. Now, to attach the whole thing to the back of the case, I decided to keep it simple and just use clear adhesive strip instead of drilling more holes into the back of the cover. It's a cleaner approach and also less permanent. For the cables, however, I had to go on Amazon and buy shorter 1-foot cables because the stock cables that come with the monitor were just way too long and there would have been way too much cable slack in the back of the case. But for some reason, I wasn't able to find a white mini HDMI cable in the 1-foot length. Literally none exist on Amazon, which I find bizarre. So unfortunately, we are stuck with the nasty gray cable instead, but fortunately, it's not gonna be visible anyways. Also, the Y70 doesn't have a pass-through hole near the back to route the cables through, so I'm forced to run them downwards and through the PCI bracket gap. Again, not a huge deal considering the GPU blocks most of it anyways. But yeah, overall, I'm very satisfied with how these turned out, and I gotta say, having 2 printers in the studio comes in clutch as I can cut the time in half. If any of you guys watching this video also own a Height Y70 case and you wanna print either of these covers yourself and modify the original file, I'll drop a link to Danny's STL files down below. And also, if you wanna commission him for a cool project, you can find them on our Discord server. Yo, what's going on, my guy? How you been?
Being great, man.
All right. I appreciate you being so patient in all this, man, but I think the wait is gonna be worth it, okay?
Yeah, I know.
So this is your first gaming PC, right?
My first.
First.
I had a gaming laptop before, but like, I ain't gonna count that, but yeah.
When did you buy it?
2022.
2022. Are you happy with the performance?
I mean, it was good. It was doing what it could do, but I wanted a PC, but my situation at that time, it wasn't good, so I had to get a gaming, you know what I'm saying, laptop.
I gotcha.
I had no space for, you know, the PC.
Makes sense. So why did you reach out to me?
Like I said, bro, I always been watching you since 2019. Like, you the only tech guy I always watch. Like, literally, like, that's my dream to get, like, to own a. I always watch your setup wars. I'm like, yo, one day I gotta own a PC. I was gonna buy the parts and try to build it myself, but I'm like, I don't want to do that and then mess it up, you know? Who could I build my PC? And he came to me, I'm like, yo, this guy that I always used to watch, like, yo, Tech Source, boom.
You're coming from a nice big jump from a laptop to a high-end dream PC, so here we go, man.
I know.
All right, 3, 2, got the Trax Panorama AIO. I replaced the fans like you requested, the Lian Li ones.
Exactly.
Put this massive monitor back here, a 9-inch. This is the biggest I put in a PC. Check that out.
Oh, wow, bro.
That's sick.
That's fire.
It fits perfectly in the back here. You can customize the wallpaper on there if you want. And then you got the beautiful Master, man, the 5080 Master. This is really hard to get.
That's fire. Oh, Lord. Oh, you did your thing, bro. I ain't gonna. I could have counted on you. Like, I know you wasn't gonna disappoint me. Like,
I appreciate that. You even got a small little display over here. You can check like your temps on there. You can upload custom GIFs and everything. It's a really nice card. Final rating out of 10.
Infinity.
Infinity. I've never heard that one before. That's awesome. But yeah, you kind of can't see it in the back though. But we added 3 more fans in the bottom, the Lian Li ones as well, and did some custom paint jobs as well. Check this out. Had a nice little cover back here. Got a Tech Source logo, so it covers your hard drive cage. So you got those nasty like thumb screws sticking out.
Yo, yeah.
And then I custom painted the PCI brackets as well to kind of match the frost theme of the PC. And I even painted, I don't know if you can see that, the legs. The legs are painted. Gotta stay consistent with the frost theme, so.
Bro, like, you did it, bro. I ain't gonna lie, you did it.
Awesome.
I'm happy. I can't wait to get my hands on that.
Sweet. Yeah, dude, appreciate you. Thank you for reaching out and letting me build your PC. This was really fun. I'm gonna pack this up and ship it out later this week. All right.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man. Take care. Performance-wise, this thing is an absolute beast. I overclocked the GPU by adding an additional 2000 megahertz on the memory clock and 325 megahertz on the core clock, pushing the RTX 5080 over 3200 megahertz. This gave us a whopping 20 FPS boost on average in the finals 1440p ultra settings, No frame gen enabled, by the way. I do want to make it clear in the video that overclocking is optional, but I do give the choice to my subscriber if they want me to overclock the system. I almost always recommend to overclock your PC. Even with the overclocks, the temps remained cool with the GPU peaking at 56 degrees Celsius and the CPU peaking at 64 C. And just like every subscriber PC build, I like to give a little something at the end of the video as a token of appreciation for letting me build your PC. The more expensive the PC is, the better the prices are going to be. So obviously you're transitioning into the desktop PC space and you're currently building your setup. So I want to give you some nice goodies to help you with your setup journey. First and foremost, you're going to need a mouse pad, obviously. This comes standard with all of our subscriber PC builds. So just go on the website, techsourceshop.com, pick any mouse pad you want, and we'll go ahead and send it to you for free. You're also going to need a wrist rest to make sure your wrists are nice and comfy while you're typing on your keyboard. So we're going to be including an 80% acrylic wrist rest. You can't be rocking a high-end gaming PC and rely on the cheap headset microphone. You gotta step up your audio game. So in order to help you with that, I'm tossing in the Mayano mixer. This is the Mayano Caster G1 NEC. I did a video on this many years ago. I had an extra one laying around in the office, but you can hook up your XLR microphone and your headphones on here. We also got some RGB stuff to spice up your setup. We got the Philips Hue lamp, or I don't even know what this is. I'm gonna toss one of those in. We got some Nanoleaf hexagons, but I'm also gonna toss in a few expansion packs. So you got the triangles and then some more hexagons if you wanna expand your lights. And last but not least, some Philips Hue light bars to spice up your setup. Anything mentioned in the video will be dropped below in the description section. If you guys want me to build your dream gaming PC, find me on my Discord server or shoot me a DM on my Instagram, which I'll link down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.